So, like, really, some of the things that they skimp out on, that's why it's cheap, I guess. Like, they say, yeah, outback and off-grid. There's no way in the world you could go off-grid. Covers are from Timo, and they're actually really, really good. And we've named the car Andy, and we've got the expander, so the whole rig is Andy. 75% of the people that come in to get weighed do not comply. And the big question is, how much? How much did all this cost? So we will do a quick run around of the additions that we've done to old Mr. Jayco, because as I said before, Jayco, this thing here doesn't have a lot of stuff in it, so these are the things that we've put in it to make life a bit easier. First thing is toolbox with jerry can holders. So the gas bottles are in here now, so make sure you put some vents in there. So the toolbox is great because it holds like generator, barbecue, chainsaw, tools, things like that. So that's an absolute bargain. And fortunately, because Jayco have extended the drawbar on this, it doesn't hit. On the old car it used to just hit it and it put a big dent in it. Anyway, so this is another addition, the old DO35 with the handbrake. Works really well. It's actually a lot easier to get that in there on regular tow ball. Then here, this is the old toolbox with the gas bottles. Make sure you get vents, and it's got plenty of room in there. So I've moved the gas, regulated it inside. The old iTech World red back generator, room for the Weber's there cooking away. So you also throw the old fire pit in the toolbox here. So you've got 2 jerry cans on either side. It's an extra 20 litres of diesel, which we really just use for the diesel heater. Everything fits in there really nice. It sits nicely on top of the barbecue. I've also upgraded the jockey wheel because the jockey wheel was absolute rubbish. We now have a diesel heater in there, which is awesome. Didn't have a diesel heater, which is a pain in the neck. I've also put up here, I've got some little LED security lights, which make life a bit easier. What else have we done out here? So this was here, our little under the bed little tunnel. It had a really small one on the other side, which we'll go around and have a look at that in a minute. Small one on the other side because I don't know why they had a small one. So what I've done too is this tunnel down the end, this was never here. And this is actually, this is under the other bed, another tunnel. It's got tools and air compressor. This is actually the one from the other side at the front that I've taken out and put in there instead. So, and then we also got a little security light up there as well. And I've also put this in, which goes to the tunnel underneath as well. So this was never here. So this one here is sideways because the other one I had to put vertically because of the strut for the awning, whereas this one I didn't have to worry about it. So that makes life a lot easier. You can get to it from on top of the bed, but this has got, so I've got just one section on this side, one section on the other side, and the middle is for clothes and things like that, blankets or whatever. So that's there, and then I put this bigger one on this side. It was just that little small one, so there's plenty of room there to put it in. So I've done that. So also what we have done is we have now got 5 solar panels on the roof, which you won't be able to see. Actually, I could do that off the old droney. So there's 5 solar panels on the roof. We've got 1,000 watts, and I've also upgraded the batteries inside as well. So gone from 100 to 400. So they had one 200 watt panel and 100 amp hour lithium battery, which we had to pay extra for the lithium. Now another thing that I've done too is, if I can find it, which is actually awesome. I sort of saw someone do something like this and I thought, oh, I'll do this. So I have put a outlet there that I can plug my lead into. So this outlet here is directly connected to our 3000 watt inverter. So if I put that in there, and then I go to my plug that you plug into your AC for your caravan park, or if you're at home or whatever, plug that in there. Now the caravan is running off my inverter. So it just feeds itself, which means that we can run the air conditioner now when we're off grid. So we get, I think, maybe 4 or 5 hours out of it, which is great. So, because there was a couple of times when she got pretty hot and we needed the old aircon when we were off grid, and we ended up having to stay in caravan parks. So yeah, that's a great little one that saves us. Awesome. Alright, so we'll have a bit of a look inside at what I've done inside to give us a bit more extra room. And as I said, the diesel heater, where I put that, the 3000 watt inverter, extra batteries. I've also upped all of the cable sizes in there and put 150 amp fuses, and the one for the air conditioner that runs all of the batteries, I've got 200 amp fuses and cables in there, so it'll run it all. Alright, perfect. And then something else that I've done as well, which I forgot about, a couple of things we forgot about, is I have put this drain in here for under the shower. So that can either just drain onto the ground, depending where you are, or you can hook the grey water hose up to that and run it into a pit if you need to. And the other thing that I forgot about was this little gem up here. This baby here, the Safety Dave reversing camera. So, like, really, some of the things that they skimp out on, that's why it's cheap, I guess. Like, no reversing camera, no security lights, which, you know, not all, well, most vans have security lights, but the solar being only 200 watts and 100 watt battery, like they say, yeah, out, back and off grid, there's no way in the world you could go off grid with a 100 amp hour battery and one 200 amp solar panel. Oh, well, you could, but you'd have to run a generator all night. So by upgrading the solar panels and the 400 watts, and also not having a inverter in, like, unless you run your generator, you can't run your coffee machine. You've got to have the coffee machine, or the toaster, or any 240 volt appliances, you can't run them. So anyway, but that's one addition actually that is good for this. It's got a gas oven, and we do use the oven. Like, a lot of people say, no, don't use the oven. We never used the microwave. We've left it in this time. Last time we took it out, but we left it in this time just to see. I don't think we've ever used it. I want to take it out because of weight, but weight's not a big problem for us now that we've got Andy, our big 200. So we'll have a look at Andy, the 200, a bit later on as well. So yeah, that's a few little upgrades that we've done. Oh, and I've also put the elastic around the pop top, so that it pulls it in, which comes standard on a lot of pop top vans now. I don't know why Jayco don't do it, but anyway, it makes life easier to, when you drop it, pulls the pop top in and it doesn't hang out all the sides everywhere. Alright, time to have a look at what we've done inside. Some of the upgrades that we've done to make our life a little bit more cozy inside. So I'll have a quick squeeze of what we've done. Okay, in we go. So, what we've done, lots of stuff in here. Starting with our little inverter there, a bit dirty. And I've also put a 240 outlet there and a 240 outlet there, which runs off Mr. Inverter. Because the only power points that we had in the van is that one there under that table, and one that was underneath this table there that's not there anymore. And this ripper here, is it in there? Yeah, look at that. In the cupboard. No power points anywhere else. Well, except one for the microwave. And if you needed to use an appliance on the top of the bench, you had to drop your cable down through there and fish it out underneath here. Fish it out under here and plug it in under there. And this is a ripper too. This is the paper towel holder that just falls off. Every time you even blink, it falls off. Anyway, so we have a 3000 watt inverter under there, which we'll have a look at. I've also installed a diesel heater in there, which we'll have a look at. I've also put in a 240 volt outlet there to power the coffee machine, which purely runs off the inverter. Put in our monitor, the Renogy monitor, which gives us the battery voltage, amps, watts that we're using, and time left. So if I do that, it should maybe go on. Green, yeah, there we go. So she's on there now, the light. So 100%, 99.59, we're drawing 2.47 amps. It's just a bit more accurate than the old projector system that we've got. I don't like the projector system, so which is going to get bypassed anyway. So what's this saying here? 100%, yeah, 400 amp hours, 75% for the water tanks, which is wrong. Anyway, so I have also put in extra batteries. There's 2 batteries under there and another 2 batteries under here, which have given us the 400 amp hours, and some storage stuff there, which we'll have a look at in a minute. And also we have got another MPPT charger there and fuses and things under there, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But I'll get all this stuff off up here, so we're going to have a look at where I've put the diesel heater in. Just before we have a look at the heater, we'll have a look at these little bits of hook and loop / velcro that you can see there. It's moved, that one's gone, that one's moved. It's supposed to hold the seat down. You can see there, that's come unstuck. Absolutely useless. Useless, Jayco, useless. Anyway, so here we have our little V4 diesel heater. And what I actually had to do was I had to move the pump a little bit, not much, but I moved this part of the drawer back so that I could get it to fit in. And I've got plenty of ventilation there. I've also put in a vent here in front so that it's got plenty of ventilation, and extended the duct over to here. And she runs like an absolute treat. She works like a gem. So that's a V4 5 kilowatt, which was 160 bucks. Chinese, but they look exactly the same and might be a bit louder. I think that's about the only other thing that could be a bit louder than the other ones, not sure. Anyway, we shall have a look on the other side where we've got the batteries and our inverter. Before we take that out, I just mentioned these covers that are on here. These covers are from Temu, and they're actually really good. They're great. They were cheap as chips and they fit really well. They're awesome. They look good too, I think. Alright, let's get these cushions off. And as you can see on this side as well, the old Velcro is gone. It's stuck on the bottom of the cushion. Oh yeah, there's two of them there stuck on the bottom of the cushion. They're not supposed to stick to the cushion, they're supposed to stick to this. Anyway, so this is going to be dusty in there. This is all the dust that's just left over from our last trip that we can't get rid of. So we have a 100 amp hour battery in there. We've got a Core Mini from Renogy 100 amp hour battery there, and our 3000 watt inverter. And what I've done is I've actually, out of the inverter, I go to this power point here. And then these two flexes here go to, one goes to the power for underneath the seats here, these ones, and the other one goes up to the coffee machine up there. And it's 15 amp 3-core flex, which I've used the 3-core flex because it's multi-stranded, which is good stuff. And then if you have a look there, the size of the cables that I've got to run old Mr. Inverter, they're 200 amp cables. They're huge, massive, but you need that when you're running an air conditioner, which is what I've got. The old inverter goes to the exterior outlet there. As I said before, I can plug the van into the inverter here and run the air conditioner, which is what I want. And I'm probably going to throw another 100 amp hour battery in here to get 500 amps, and got 5 solar panels on the roof, which is actually 975 watts, 4 200s and 175, because I unfortunately ran out of room and I don't have enough room. But you should really have all the same size. I should have 5 200s, but anyway, I don't. Couldn't fit it. Okay, let's have a look at what else we've got. So we'll go back to the old coffee machine and things. So the inverter, we just turn the inverter on down here, and that's kicked in, which is now gone up a bit. And then I'll just turn the coffee machine on, see how much power we're going to be drawing. So a little bit of a flash there. We're up to 100 amps. She's pulling 99 as it's heating it up, 101, and it does it fine. It's saying that it's still got 25 hours at 100 amps it's going to run. 19.5 just gone down, now it's heated up, so it's dropping. That works really well, that little monitor system there. So we don't run the milk frother and the coffee machine at the same time, which we can do, but I just don't do it because I don't like to load everything up. So anyway, we can turn that back off. Have a look what else we've got. So another thing that I've done, which works out to be quite handy, is I have, when the pop top's down, you can't open the door to the toilet. So what I've done is I've just put a little catch on here, a catch there, and this just holds in here to hold that tight there, and that sits behind this. When that comes down, that sits in there, doesn't bang or do anything like that, and you can get to the loo, which is handy when you're out in the middle of the nowhere and Sarah needs to use the loo. I've also installed a max fan. Now this max fan is reversible, so it draws and it sucks, and I've got it so that it using it as a dust reduction system. And I've just put these little LEDs in, which are good, except 2 of them aren't working at the moment, so I need to have a look at those. Timu, of course not all of them work, but that's really bright. Lights up the bathroom here, the shower and the loo really well. So now I need to take that off because that's a bit dusty. Have a look and see, but I use that as a dust reduction system, which seems to work. So this is 900 cubic feet a minute, whereas the dust reduction system, the caravan and other ones are between $1,500 to $2,000, and they only do 600 or 700 cubic feet. And I've just made up a couple of filters because I don't have filters. So I've just made up this little filter here that comes off pretty easy. And has it got, it's a little bit dirty, but it's not too bad. And you can actually operate this, will operate in the closed position. So on off, and then it's going, the roof's lifting up, electric roof, and I can actually put the roof down. Oh, that's taking the roof will come down automatically, but I can't work it out, in, out. Oh, that swaps it around the other way. But you can just wind it down, you can do it manually. Pretty easy. So that's handy that that's there. And this pumps the air out. Like you can hear it. She is blowing an awful lot of air in here, which is great. Good little system, I like it. But I did have to cut a bigger hole out in the roof, which is always a bit scary, cutting holes in roofs, in case it leaks. So one of the major alterations that I've done is put in this storage here. So that is actually a bunk bed or another table. So it's got 2 seats and a little table, which I've taken. I've put the table down underneath here, lowered it down, and put this in here, and this gives us so much more storage. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tubs there, and it also holds our chairs. The chairs in there as well, which is great. Makes a huge difference. We can store so much more stuff. I mean, these tubs here, most of them are empty at the moment anyway. We don't really fill them up, which gives us plenty more storage space. And then also under here we've got room to store our 2 little tables there, and there's a sleeping bag which should go in there. And there's the other little PowerPoint hiding there, pretty hard to get to. Now I've also put in a 60 amp MPPT solar charge controller, because the charge controller that is in here is only a 30 amp, and as I'm pulling about 45 amps, or putting in about 45 amps from our solar panels, I needed to up it. This isn't connected at the moment. It's connected to the battery, but it's not actually connected to the solar, because winter time the sun is too low and we're only getting about 27, 28 amps anyway. And then I've also put here the fuse. This is it's actually a 150 amp fuse with 200 amp cable, and I've got that there so that, because that is a hotspot, can be a hotspot, anywhere you've got terminals can be a hotspot. And I had it in underneath here where the battery is, and it melted at one stage. So I've now got it out here so that if anything does happen, if it starts melting or catching fire or anything, we can quickly put it out with a fire extinguisher, and also I can get to the fuse pretty easily as well. So yeah, there's a battery in here, and there's another battery in up under there as well. So that makes life a lot easier, which is awesome. So yeah, done a few little upgrades to make life a bit easier for us. Everything seems to work quite fine for the time being for our needs. Air conditioner works. We've got the diesel heater now, which is unreal, and we can pretty well go off grid for a long time. Oh, there we go. There's something that I forgot to mention. Something else I've done as well, as I put in here, I've put in a SIGI plug and USB and USB-C outlets for charging phones and things like that. So that works well. Actually, there's a little light in there that I've put in for Sarah too, a little reading light. But no, all good. Very happy with what we've got in here. And look at all this dust that's coming out everywhere from our last trip. It's just, wow, this is from, look at it. We're never going to get rid of all this dust. Anyway, it is what it is. Alright, so that's the van. Run down on all the upgrades on the old van. And now on to our new tow rig. 2019 200 series Landcruiser. The last of the V8s, eh? So we'll have a bit of a walk around. So this car was actually our good friend Andy and Jude's vehicle. And we'd all planned to go travelling together, but unfortunately those plans were cut short due to health reasons. Well, actually, poor old Andy got brain cancer and fell off the perch, which is a bugger, because we were all going to go travelling together. So we decided, let's buy the car and continue travelling. So that's what we've done, and we've named the car Andy, and we've got the expander, so the whole rig is Andy Pandy. Okay, so let's have a bit of a look at what we've got, eh? He's done quite a few upgrades. So we'll start with the obvious one there, is the R08 wheels. The rims with the BF Goodrich tyres, the KO2s. Safari snorkel. We've got the Rhino rack on the top with the Max Trax rack. We also have the ARB colour matched bull bar with side steps. Also the ARB spotties. Yeah, very big spotties. We also have a worn winch hiding in under there. Also upgraded bash plates, upgraded suspension, gone for a GVM upgrade and a lift kit as well. We have the clear view mirrors, of course. Speaking of the suspension upgrade, we have airbags in the back, which is great, and the manufacturer's plate here, we have 3845 is the GVM now, which is awesome. Then under the bonnet, let's have a look under the bonnet. What have we got? Oh, we have spare battery, auxiliary battery, which I'll put this shunt on for the monitor. It's got all the fuses and stuff in there, of course. We also have the Safari RMAX ECU, which is your engine control unit, which is inside. Oh, going back, wheels, we have the Safety Dave tyre pressure monitoring system, which is called Safety Tyre, which is just inside there. We also have the Kmart rear Kmart rear bar, because under here, under there we have the long range fuel tank. So we've actually got 285 litres, which gets us about 1600 Ks, which is awesome. Got the old rock tamers on the back there, heavy duty tow bar, got the jerry can holder, as well as our spare tyre on the back there. And then going inside here, we have got the ARB drawers. These are great, nice and big, nice and strong, nice and big. Got the ARB fridge, which at the moment is drawing too much power and sucking out 100 amp hour battery. As you can see here, it's saying 17%. That's a monitor that I've thrown in. So that's that. We also have in here, we have the ARB compressor with the panel and outlets over on this side here for our air hose that we can either pump up the tyres or we can pump up the air suspension, the airbag man suspension in the back. So that's a gem. So there's the pumping up the airbag suspension, and inside's probably a bit of a mess. We have got some, I've just bought the Explore Life rear, the seat cargo carrier. We've got Fit My Car, these were from. Nice, these are really good, really good. And then the front there, got those, got the old angle grinder there as well, just in case. So yeah, these. And one thing that this model, the GXL, doesn't have the fridge, unfortunately, and it doesn't have heated seats. So I actually just bought some little seat covers there, and I've put little buttons in up here. So that's all good. There's our safety Dave. We also have a little scanning gauge, which will give you, tells you everything. You can read through your OBD2, I think it is. It'll read any faults or anything like that, but also it gives you all your trips, how many Ks you've done, how many litres you've done. You can actually put into it how many litres you put in, how much it costs you, and it'll work out how much fuel you're using and how much it's costing for the trip. We've also got the XRS GME radio. That's a must. Got to have the old radio. Can't go without that. So, and I think that's just about it for the old vehicle. But no, she's a gem. He's done an awfully good job on doing all this, and spent a ton of money too. Doing this type of thing is not cheap. That is for sure. Anyway, there it is. That's the rig. So I haven't really been playing around much with the old Safari, the ECU, and I thought I'd give it a go this time. So this morning I put it onto level 3, which is the towing mode. And I tell you, it made a huge difference, massive. So it actually changes the torque of the vehicle. And it just, made a massive difference. You could just sit on 1800 revs and it just sits on 98 Ks, not a problem at all. Very, very good. So yeah, I definitely highly recommend getting one of these Safaris. I think it works better than the old throttle controller. I'm not sure if the new throttle controllers have got the towing mode or not, but I had an old one which didn't have it. It just had the sport mode, the ultimate mode, the economy mode, and the regular mode. Just the three of, the auto mode, sport mode, well, the ultimate, and economy, and just your normal. But definitely very happy with the old Safari. Alright, well, that is the van, the upgrades / improvements that I've made to it, make life a bit easier for us, and our new rig, the 200. And the big question is, how much? How much did all this cost? Well, you don't get much change from 200 grand. And 200 grand, it's a lot of money, but if you want to go out back and reasonably luxuriously, so to speak, that's what you got to spend. I mean, I've seen some people spend 100 grand on a 200 series Landcruiser and then put another 90 grand into it, and then 150 on a caravan. So they're looking at 350,000. But then I've also seen people, I saw a guy the last trip we were at, he had like a 1980s Land Rover Discovery, the old Disco, and a 1980 model Jayco of some sort. I think it was a Jayco, really old. He was really, really handy, which is fortunate. And he probably had 50 grand in the whole setup. But things that old, they're not really that comfortable and they're going to break. So I would rather not have something break out in the middle of nowhere. And another thing too with having a rig like this, the 200, is your weights. As I said before, I'm the weight police, and I saw a thing the other day, a guy on YouTube, an Aussie guy who's going around Australia. He's a mobile weigh guy. 75% of the people that come in to get weighed do not comply, and most of it is actually the rear axle weight. They're GVMs and the rear axle weight. So that's why we've upgraded to this, which got the GVM upgrade, which is great, but it doesn't change your GCM. So, you know, if we had a big van, we would probably still be over. We got 6,850 is our total gross combined mass, and we weighed it the other day and we were 6,522, and it was pretty loaded with a lot of stuff. So we've still got over 300 kilos that we can carry. So that had full water, nearly full fuel, both of us in it, heap of luggage. Like, we had all our skis, fridge, like all sorts of stuff in there, so it was quite heavy. So we know that we're pretty good. And we've got a 350 kilo tow ball weight, which this van is about 240. So, and by moving things around in the van too, it helps with your weight. So yeah, big factors are comfort, where you want to go, whether you're going off grid and whether you're going off road, and weights. Weight. It's a huge thing. All right, well, that pretty well wraps it up. So here we are back at the farm, and I'll tell you, it's been raining a little bit. It creaks up, but it's great to come back to a place like this. So we might even go and have a little bit of a sneak peek at our view from the balcony, so you can see what we get to come home to. So this is up the edge of the balcony here, and here's our beautiful view. Look at that. That's what we wake up to every morning. That awesome view. So if you want to see a bit more of the view and things around the farm, check out some of our farm videos. Our wool shed over there, the goaties. Old Luther down there, the alpaca. We've got some cows on the hill over there. And here's our nice big balcony here. She's a ripper. Alright, well, we'll see you next time. Enjoy. So famous last words, Miss Sarah on the chairlift, not many people. Look at the line for Basin T-bar. Lean into the corners, she reckons, you go faster. Oh, what a beautiful morning. No wind, not a cloud in the sky. Corduroy on the ground, except for the fresh man-made stuff on top of it. And unfortunately, all too familiar sight at the old thread bow is everything's on wind hold.